Job cuts increase in October. The Supreme Court might reject the tariffs, and snap. I'll cover those topics today. This is a financial education presentation. You must do your own due diligence on anything you hear in this presentation. More disclaimer information can be found on ankerstarwealth.com, and the opinions expressed are mine and mine alone. So, a few weeks ago, I covered where job cuts had went down significantly, as well as job quits. So I think they call that JOLTS. I can't remember exactly what that acronym is, but basically there was no movement in the job market. And what we're seeing in today's article that I'm going to share is there's starting to be some movement. And unfortunately, or maybe it is fortunately, it's in the cut side. So highest level for the month in 22 years is what we just heard. And they may be gauging it as the 183% surge, but there's definitely an increase. And a lot of it's in the technology sector. 33,000 cuts, 6 times the September level. So we're seeing call it towards the end of year cuts. What does that mean? Maybe AI is replacing some jobs. We've talked about that. Maybe the economy's slowing enough that as these companies project forward, they want to right size their labor. That is another part of it. So anyways, I'll scroll through here and pick off a couple interesting points in here. I do think this point right here, that a disruptive technology is changing the landscape. And it's never seen as a positive, or rarely seen as a positive in the moment, but in the end, if it releases workers to do something else that maybe they're more productive at, it turns into something better for them, fantastic. If this caused an overall increase in unemployment to a significant level, maybe not such good news, at least in the short term. But always have to remind everyone here listening is that as an owner of companies, your company being the most efficient it can be so that it can compete with everybody around the world is very important. I came out of the healthcare world, healthcare insurance world, and if you did not right size your employment each year, your rates would be higher, and therefore you would not be competitive with all the other companies, and you would lose business and more jobs would go. So it's kind of a cycle there. Next, Supreme Court, look at this. Now, like we're just reading, it almost feels like we're reading people's facial expressions, but they appear skeptical that the Trump tariffs are legal. We'll see how this comes down. I don't know if I've been this excited to hear what the Supreme Court has to say in quite a while, but this has a big financial impact. What happens if the primary new revenue source that Trump put in this year gets taken away? Well, either we cut severely, which that doesn't usually happen, or more money gets printed. That does seem to happen quite a bit, but we will continue to report out on this. I do think this is a major deal. Now, what will the market do if they get cut? I have a feeling the market actually goes up initially, because keep in mind, there's concerns that tariffs put costs on that have to be passed on to consumers. Suddenly companies are like, whoa, we don't have tariffs. Our products are cheaper. Of which we've already priced in tariffs coming. So I bet you the cut in pricing from the companies is relatively a slow change. And then the other side is, if it turns into printing money, then your dollars are worth less. Therefore, the same company or Bitcoin or gold or your house is more in those dollars. So is it really, really, truly worth more in buying power? Absolutely not, but it's worth more in those dollars. Therefore, you would see the markets likely increase. But I imagine this battle is going to go for a while, although it's at the Supreme Court level. And then last, we talk about social media, and I'm a big user of LinkedIn and Facebook. Those are, call it my demographic. But my kids are big users of Snap. And I actually asked them the other day because they were saying something about their Snap streaks, and they have a 1,000 days with their brother or sister or friend or whatever. And I mean, I'm like, you're kidding me. You mean you send a message or a picture to your friend 1,000 days in a row? I'm thinking there's probably a lot of things you could do better with your time. And I said, well, what happens if you miss a day? Like I was asking the kids this. What happens if you miss a day? Well, you can pay a fee and restore your streak. And of course my next question is, so have you guys paid these fees? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's the only thing I've ever spent on Snap, is paying my fee to restore my streak. Huh. I'm thinking it's kind of like paying overdue fees to the library, if you remember those days. I'm not even sure what to think about it. But I will tell you what the stock thinks about it. It's up 15% today on strong earnings and revenue. So I know that's not their primary revenue, is eking dollar fees out of teens, or maybe it is, I'm not sure. It's more on the advertising side, but I just want to point out that this stock is up big today. If we look back to a 52-week range, you can see I'll go back to a 5-year. Wow, 5 years, this has been a house of pain. It's down almost 90%. Sorry, Evan Spiegel, the CEO. However, I do see this company looking at it and I say, well, if my kids are using it and my kids are keeping 1,000-day streaks with other kids, this might be a wave of the future, a platform of the future. I think they told me that Facebook was for old people. They may have said that. So anyways, I thought I'd give a quick report out on Snap. If you are actually on Snap, go ahead and reply to one of these comments. I'd be interested to know. I did get on Snap for like a day. I think 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I downloaded it for a day. They showed me a couple things, and I guess my streaks ended right away because I don't think I ever logged back in. So I probably have a Snap ID out there somewhere. So with that, we'll come back to you with more reports. There's so many interesting things in the news. Nancy Pelosi isn't going to run for re-election. That sounds interesting, and we'll see where all the tariff talk goes. Thanks, everybody. Bye.